Continuing with the surface chemistry. Let us do some more questions. Question number 11. 10 question we have discussed in our first lecture. It is define coagulation and flocculation. Now what is coagulation? Coagulation, it is the phenomena of induced aggregation of the colloidal particles of dispersed phase by passing electric current through the colloidal solution of the substance, or by it can be done by mutual precipitation, mixing positive colloidal solution with negative colloidal solution. Both solution they coagulate each other. Mutually they coagulate, positive sol as well as negative sol, they both get coagulated. Or sometime by adding electrolyte to the colloidal solution, the electrolytic ion which bear opposite charge to that of the dispersed phase particle, they tend to neutralize the adsorbed ions of the dp phase and result in the coagulation or aggregation of the colloidal particle, which is called as coagulation. So coagulation, what is coagulation? It is the phenomenon of induced aggregation of colloidal particles. They are generally dp by adding electrolyte or by passing electric current through their solutions. If aggregated particles become too heavy to settle, it is known as coagulation. If keep on floating, इतने हल्के हों that they are floating in the medium, keep on floating, then it is known as flocculation. So there is slight difference between coagulation and flocculation. In both cases, aggregation is resulted by electrolyte or by passing electric current or through mutual precipitation or by dialysis. But what happens in coagulation, the particle become too heavy, they cannot keep floating in the medium but they settle at bottom. This is called as coagulation. If they are lighter, they keep on floating in the medium, this is called as flocculation. Then we have another question. What do you mean by what is coagulation value and flocculation value? Now what are these values? It is the amount of electrolyte required to coagulate a particular sol or to flocculate a particular sol. That amount of electrolyte, it can be measured in millimoles. That amount of electrolyte is called as flocculation or coagulation value. There will be a slight difference between these two values. Coagulation value will always be higher than the flocculation value, because flocculation value may the particles they are not too heavy to settle at bottom. It means this state is likely to come earlier as compared to the state of coagulation. So it is the amount of electrolyte or millimoles of the electrolyte which are required to coagulate or flocculate 1 liter of the colloidal sol, that is called as coagulation or flocculation value of that sol. Now we have another question, very important question. What is heat of adsorption? As we know, in adsorption, heat is always produced, heat is always evolved. So we can also call it as molar heat of adsorption. Heat of adsorption, or we can call it as molar heat of adsorption. Now, what is molar heat of adsorption? It is the amount of heat evolved when 1 mole of a gas or liquid adsorbate get absorbed on the surface of adsorbent. The heat so produced, that will be called as molar heat of adsorption, because it is involving the adsorption of 1 mole of a gas or liquid on the surface of adsorbent. That's why it is also called as molar heat of adsorption. Then we have another important question. Define surfactant. What are surfactants? These are the substances, they can be detergent, they can be soap, which get concentrated on the surface of dirty articles and remove dirt from that article. So the role of these substances is to lower the interfacial tension between water and dirt. Otherwise, with pure water, you cannot wash that dirt from any article, from a cloth. But if you are applying surfactant, detergent is applied, or some soap is applied, or shampoo is applied on that, the role of these particles is to lower the interfacial tension between water and the dirt particles and to form a stable emulsion. It will act as a intermediate between the two parties, and which will facilitate the mixing of two parties. So surfactant, these are the substances like detergent, soap, emulsifying agents, which get concentrated at the interface of the dirt and water, and they lower the interfacial tension of these two and produce a stable emulsion which is washed away by your fresh water. So it helps in the cleansing of our fabric, cleansing of the other dirty articles. So this is very important, surfactant, role of surfactant in the cleansing action. Then what are the applications of adsorption? If we see the next question, that is question number 15, tell some applications of adsorption. So what are the applications of adsorption? Adsorption plays important role in painting. If we are painting a article, the paint particles, they get concentrated on the surface of that article. So this is called as first application. It helps in the covering of surface of a article or a substance and to prevent it against exposure to atmosphere. Rusting is prevented by this method. Then we have second application. Adsorption help in, number one, it helps in forming barrier through painting on metal articles. Secondly, it helps in creating vacuum. कहीं पे आपने वैक्यूम क्रिएट करना है, you introduce adsorbent in that chamber. These adsorbent, they will absorb gases from that chamber and will produce vacuum there, and they help in the purification of water. Adsorption helps in purification of water. Technique is ion exchange method. We have done it at 11th level. Here we are having suitable resins having H positive at one terminal or OH negative ions at another terminal. When hard water is put in this resin, then magnesium ion, they are magnesium or calcium ion, they are replaced by H positive ion, and chloride or sulfate ion, they are replaced by these OH negative resin. Ultimately we get Mg resin, calcium resin, or in this case we'll get Cl resin. OH resin की जगह आपको मिल जाएगा सल्फेट. It will be resin twice. So in this manner, adsorption have number of applications in our day-to-day life. Then we have what are the differences between physical and chemical adsorption. Differences between physical and chemical adsorption. As we know, in physical adsorption, weak van der Waals forces are involved between adsorbate and adsorbent. Here, strong chemical bonds are formed. When forces are weak, the heat produced is very less. Heat produced is 20 to 40 kilojoule per mole. Here, heat produced, it is 40 to 400 kilojoule per mole. It decreases. Physical adsorption decreases with increase in temperature. Now, chemisorption first increases, contains maximum, and then decreases. Because in this case, initially activation energy is needed by the reactant molecules, adsorbate and adsorbent. So initially when we are increasing temperature, then the activation energy is given to the reactant molecule. After some time, the system itself produces heat, so no external heating is required. Still, if we are heating the reactants, adsorbate and adsorbent, then it will definitely decrease the rate of adsorption. Here no specific compound is formed, no compound formation takes place. Here compound formation takes place. क्योंकि केमिकल बॉन्ड बन रहे हैं, they are definitely producing compound in this case, and in the physical adsorption no specific compounds are produced there. So these are the differences between the physical and chemical adsorption. Then we are having the next question, question number 17. That will be how deltas are formed. Deltas कैसे बनते हैं? We have to explain formation of delta. How deltas are formed. How deltas are formed, we can explain it by that river water that contains clay particles, sand particles, and when these particles they are brought along with river water at the contact point of sea and river, then these particles of clay and sand they are coagulated by electrolytic ions which are present in the sea water at the point of contact where the river water meets the sea water. At that position, at that point, what happens, the clay particle or sandy particles of the brought by river, they are coagulated by the electrolytic ions present in the seawater. So these particles, they get collected at the contact point of river and sea, and collection of these fertile particles, they are highly fertile particles, it results in the formation of delta at the meeting point of river and sea. Sundarban delta is a very good example of this kind of formation of delta, where the Ganga water, it meets sea water, and the clay particles, they get coagulated, resulting in the coagulation of the clay particles by electrolytic ions, and it results in the formation of delta. Then we have next question, what are the differences? Question number 18, what are the differences between lyophilic and lyophobic colloids? Now we come to lyo means liquid, phile means love. It means these colloids are liquid loving. They can easily pass into the solution when they are mixed with the dispersion medium. So they are liquid loving colloids. And easily pass into the solution. Now, lyophobic word, lyo means liquid again, and phobia means hate. So they do not love liquid, they do not dissolve easily in the liquid, they are liquid hating. Do not dissolve easily. Now, no specific methods are needed. कोई स्पेशल मेथड नहीं चाहिए, अपने आप ही घुल जाते हैं. They dissolve themselves needed for preparation of their soul. There are specific methods are needed for preparation of soul. Then we have third method. They are heavily hydrated. Or solvated solvent molecules, they form strong affection, they have strong affection for these particles, so they surround them heavily. In this case, they are not. They are irreversible. इनको जल्दी जल्दी कोलाइडल स्टेट से अलग नहीं कर सकते हैं. They cannot be separated. DP cannot be separated from DN. They are irreversible. So these are the major point of differences between lyophilic and lyophobic colloids. Then we have very important questions. What is our why adsorption is exothermic in nature? We have already discussed this question. Again we will be discussing it. Why adsorption is exothermic? Adsorption of gas on the surface of solid. हम गैस की बात कर रहे हैं. And as we know that when gas gets adsorbed on the surface of solid, the entropy of the gas or whole system that decreases. When gas is free, it is more random, it has more entropy. When it gets adsorbed on the surface of solid, its randomness decreases. or delta S becomes negative, and we know the expression that delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. If delta S is negative during adsorption, then delta H is equal to minus T minus delta S. So this will become, expression will become T delta S. Now, if adsorption has to take place, delta G should be negative. When it will be negative, should be negative only when delta H is negative. अगर delta H negative होगा only then delta G will be negative. So when delta H is negative, delta G would also be negative and adsorption will take place. Now we can prove why delta H is negative here. So when molecules of adsorbate, they form association with molecules of the surface molecule of the adsorbent, definitely when new bonds are produced, that definitely energy is released. When energy is released, definitely we have delta H negative. So negativity of delta H and delta G, that is proved. When molecules are held together by a strong bond, they definitely release energy. That's why delta H should always be negative and adsorption should always be a exothermic process. Then we have what is Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect क्या है और ये कैसे define कर सकते हैं हम? That is our 20th question. That is what is Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect was given by a scientist which was known as Tyndall. He passed a converging beam of light through a colloidal solution. Define and explain Tyndall effect. When a converging beam of light is passed through colloidal solution, this is beam of light, it is coming, it is converted in colloidal solution. The path of the beam gets illuminated by bluish colored light. This is called as Tyndall cone. And this phenomena is called as Tyndall effect. Now what is Tyndall effect? Tyndall effect is the phenomenon of scattering of the light by colloidal particles. How it is done? It is done through an experiment. These are the parallel beam of the light. This beam when passes through a lens, it gets converged at a point in the colloidal solution, and the colloidal particles which are lying here, they are suspended in the medium. They scatter at right angle to the incident path. The path of this beam will get illuminated by bluish color light, and this illumination is called as Tyndall cone. ये cone के रूप में light निकलेगी एक point से निकल के, it will be scattered in all the directions, and this phenomena is called as Tyndall effect. Now what is the cause of Tyndall effect? When the photons of the incident light, they fall on the colloidal particles, these photons, they get adsorbed on the surface of the colloidal particles, and later on when colloidal particles set in to and fro motion, they scatter those adsorbed light at right angle to the incident light, and this light is illuminated or scattered from the surface of colloidal particle in the form of cone. This is called as Tyndall cone, and whole of this phenomenon is called as Tyndall effect. Now we have what is dialysis. Question number 21 is define dialysis and electrodialysis. Now what is dialysis? Now a colloidal solution, when colloidal solution is prepared, it is contaminated with many electrolytic ions which are produced as side product. These electrolytic ions, they are produced as side product. Now this colloidal solution, it is filled in a parchment paper bag. ये parchment paper एक bag है. And this bag is suspended in a beaker containing running water, fresh running water. Water will enter from the lower end and will escape from the top end. ये आउटलेट है बाहर की. So now outside this parchment paper bag, this is a fresh water which is always deficient in electrolytic ions, but this colloidal solution is always rich in electrolytic ions. So when fresh water comes here, it will wash away all the electrolytic ion which will come out of this bag and you will take them out. So what happens here, when parchment paper containing colloidal solution is dipped in the fresh water, then electrolytic ion, due to concentration gradient, they will start diffusing out of this bag, and we can say the concentration of electrolytic ion that will go on decreasing in the colloidal solution, and with the passage of time all the electrolytic ion they will pass out and colloidal solution will become pure and will become more stable, because these electrolytic ion they are danger to the stability of the colloidal solution. So उनको अगर निकाल देंगे then their stability will be more. So this is dialysis. Then we have electrodialysis. If the process of dialysis it has to be made faster, अगर इसको हम तेज करना चाहते हैं, we place two electrodes outside the parchment paper bag in the solution. One is having positive charge, another is having negative charge. तो negative electrode जो है that will pull the positive ions more easily, more fast rate, and this electrode which is having the positive charge, it will pull the negative ion at a very fast rate from the parchment paper bag, and ultimately solution is cleared, it is purified at a much faster pace. This is called as electrodialysis. The process of dialysis can also be done with the help of ultrafiltration. So question number 21 is define ultrafiltration. We have already used ultrafilter paper during electroosmosis. Ultrafilter papers, they are specially designed filter paper where the size of pores, जो इनमें छोटे छोटे holes हैं, the size of the pores is so adjusted that it can keep dispersed phase particle, but it allows the passage of dispersion medium solvent through it. So when colloidal solution is filtered with ultrafilter paper, the DP particle, the dispersed phase particle, they remain in the ultrafilter paper, while whole of the solvent, electrolytic ions which are causing destability to the colloidal solution, they will be passed out. So this is called as ultrafiltration. This is also used for purification of the colloidal solution. So purification can be done by dialysis without using electrodes, by electrodialysis when two electrodes are used outside the parchment paper bag containing the colloidal solution, and it can also be done by ultrafiltration where the electrolytic ion and DM they go out and we are left only with the dispersed phase. When this dispersed phase is mixed with the pure solvent, pure dispersion medium, we'll get the pure colloidal solution. So this is all about second lecture of surface chemistry. We'll take remaining topics in the third lecture. Thank you very much.